give you a big example about what we're doing. We are debuting a new monthly entrepreneur spotlight called You Got What It Takes. And it's a brainchild of Crystal Neville, who I've had on BizTalk here before. And I'm real excited about it because, you know, I've had a lot of people come to me with ideas and shows, Crystal, but yours is the one that really, really hit me the most because it fits with my passion for small businesses, and it's something that I'm really, really big on. And we got two exciting guests, and I'm going to have Crystal introduce our first guest who is here in the studio and tell a little bit about what we're doing. Our second guest is Trish Slade, and she is stuck in traffic, so she'll be here soon. But Crystal, turning it over to you.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here on today and a debut of a brainchild of mine, which is You Got What It Takes. You Got What It Takes is a twofold platform of inspiration. You will hear stories of ordinary people, candid journey that went beyond a dream through the process to live their dream of owning a successful business. Also, our goal is to give aspiring and established entrepreneurs a push of encouragement to do the work, to take those important steps of embracing the process to make their dreams a reality as well. I want you to know that you got what it takes. So today, one of our guests is Miss Trish Morset of Professional Translation. Trish, tell everybody hello.
Well, hello everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today.
We are so excited to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a wife.
Yes.
My husband and I have been together for going on 21 years now.
Oh,
I am a mother. I have a 6-year-old son, a 3-year-old daughter. I am a successful businesswoman. I own Professional Translations Incorporated, which is a translation company. I'm sure we're going to talk about.
Yes, we will. Yes.
And we're getting ready to launch a new corporation this year that we're really excited about. It's FabLifeCorporation as well. So, you know, very busy. I'm an author.
Okay.
I have written my first book was released, last year? And no, 2 years.
What's the name of the book?
Faith in a Barren Land.
I read that book. That book had me stirred up. That's a good book. You all got to get that.
I can relate to that. I mean, I lost my brother, unfortunately, 9/11.
Oh, wow.
And I wrote a book about my faith part, which the Lord called 911, God Help Us.
Oh, wow.
And ironically, out of tragedy, God created life in the form of our son. Satan was taking life, and God created life out of our son. And today is his 13th birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday to your
God.
baby. That's
Yes,
awesome. That is really awesome.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that's funny because that's how, you know, my book was birthed through so many different things that happened in my life. And so I wrote a book to inspire people that no matter what kind of barren land that they may be going through, whether it's financial, whether it's spiritual, whether it's just relationships, even fertility, you know, no matter what it is, there is always a way out. There's always a way to overcome. And so this book has been truly an inspiration to so many people around the world, and it's gotten rave reviews on Amazon.com. So it's just a blessing. And now I'm working on my second book.
You mentioned fertility. Did you deal with that? My wife and I suffered infertility for 7 years before we had our
wow, yeah. My husband and I tried for 8 years before we got our first. And you know, you're looking at a woman who's been pregnant 8 times. I have had 6 miscarriages, 2 babies, of course, which I've talked about. But in my first miscarriage, I almost died. I had to have emergency surgery. Doctors were wheeling me in at the last minute trying to save my life. So it was very tragic.
And I know personally from my wife and I going through it, the impact that infertility can have on you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah.
That is something else. That is really something else. So, you know, I want everybody to go and look up Faith in a Barren Land on Amazon.com. And now we're going to get into what we're actually talking about for as being this amazing entrepreneur and the business that God have birthed out of you as well, Professional Translation. Tell us, how long have you been in business?
Well, this is our 7th year.
7th year.
With the translation company. So we've been doing business for 7 years now.
Wow. What made you think that that idea for professional translation was really a business, that you can actually, you know, live off of this thing, translation for people? What made you think that you can actually make a business out of that?
Oh my goodness. Well, I tell you, I double majored in college.
Wow.
I got my degree in Spanish as well as English. And so it was very, very, very difficult. I'm not going to lie, but, you know, I'm a go-getter. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit. So I pressed toward the mark. And I finished, and you know, I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I didn't know if I wanted to go into journalism or writing with newspapers, magazines, or
that's Roy's background.
Yeah,
that's Roy's background.
I was a reporter for 25 years, and newspapers is a dying business for people my age now. I mean, I was among a big downside a couple of years ago, so I'm glad you chose something else.
Yes. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do with it, and then you know, with Spanish, I didn't know if I wanted to translate, interpret, teach it, but I ended up teaching for 8 years.
Oh, okay.
And then God just challenged me to step out on faith and do something differently. It came in the form of, you know, leave the school system, get your license in insurance, sell insurance for 6 months. I hated it.
Wow.
I've had people offer opportunities to sell insurance. That's just not me.
Yeah, it wasn't me either, but I didn't understand why I was supposed to do it until, you know, that was something that God put in my spirit to do. Okay. And I went into it. I did everything God told me to do. Blessed tremendously financially. I mean, in the school system, what I made in a month, I can make that in a week selling insurance.
Oh, wow.
And so I was blessed, but I hated it, and I questioned God all the time. Well, why in the world am I in insurance? I was better off teaching. At least I knew what I was doing, and I was comfortable doing it. I'm not comfortable doing this. And so I questioned God. I felt like the children of Israel when you know they were coming out of the promised land, they were coming out of Egypt, going into the promised land, and they were, you know, complaining.
Right.
And so,
I had leeks back in there.
At least I had something to eat.
I had something to eat back there. Yeah.
And so, you know, I came out of that, and then that's when I got pregnant after 6 months of doing insurance, and I had to sit down because this was my first pregnancy that actually might be a success.
Wow.
And so I decided to sit myself down somewhere, sit at home, kick my feet up, and kind of ride the waves. And so, but then God put in me that there's something that I could be doing from home. And I began to research, well, what is my gift? What is my talent? I just came out of school system teaching. What if I go into the translation world now? Started researching companies. And then once I looked into the companies, you know, I heard in the spirit, why won't you start your own?
All right.
And I said, I don't know anything about this. I'm just really trying to tap into it. But by faith, if you said it, that's it. Let's go.
Let's go.
So I started this translation company. And get this now, everything that I muttered and complained about when I went into insurance, all the training that I got, the manuals, the training books, everything that I got, learning how to do marketing, branding, sales, talking to gatekeepers, everything that I learned in insurance, I was able to apply in my company. And I had no clue why God was taking me into the insurance world. I just knew He said to do it, so I'm going to do it. I hate it, but I'm going to do it. And so it helped me to run my business, to set my business up, to run it, and be successful. And I had to repent. I was like, God, I'm so sorry.
So you actually learned at that point that every stepping stone was taking you where you needed to go.
It was.
Okay.
Whether I
hear
like
that.
it or not.
Whether you like it or not.
It helped me.
How long ago was it when you started your business?
Well, it was right at 7 years in April. It will be 7 years that I started. And so I came right immediately out of insurance sales, had a baby. You know, my son came March 31st. He was early. I was supposed to have had him on April the 8th. Wow. Instead of having him on April the 8th, I started a business. I birthed something.
All right. High five in the air. Amazing.
Can you imagine that? Like a week after having a baby, God told you to start a business on the day that you were supposed to have. You thought you were going to have that baby, but it was another baby.
Another baby.
Birth. And so that's how it came about.
So you actually went into the second question that I had here. Is
before you go into it, remind everybody that this is a call-in show. So if you do have any questions for Trish and our other guest who is stuck in traffic and gotten lost, but hopefully she'll be here in a couple minutes. The phone number, if you have questions for Trish or for Crystal, is 741-9244. I'm sorry.
Yes, call in. We would like to hear from you, and Trish would like to hear from you. You have any questions? Call in. We want to hear from you. All right. You actually went into really this. One of my other questions is, how long did it take your dream to become a reality? And you said you went full force ahead. So just tell us some more about that. Just going right into it.
Well, it wasn't peaches and cream, you know.
That's right. Tell us the truth about it.
When I started the business, I remember was at home with a newborn baby.
Wow.
My husband and I had a brand new house that we hadn't been living in that long. But, you know, in the middle of having a brand new house and a baby, I step out on faith and do something totally different from teaching, where I had a normal paycheck coming in.
All right.
To, I don't know what I'm going to make every week, you know? And
wow.
so I was like, the whole time, I was like, well, God, I just trust you. I'm just going to be obedient. I just trust you. And so the process was not pretty, but it was a challenge to my faith, because during the process when I started the business, I knew that in order for it to be successful, I had to have money. And that was something that was very rare. My husband was the only one that was really working and bringing in a steady paycheck. So we took out a loan for $6,000. $6,000 was supposed to help us with some of the startup costs and help us pay some of the bills that might get, you know, lacking. And that $6,000 went real fast, I can tell you that.
All right.
And the first year, my company brought in, can I get a drum roll, please?
A drum roll.
$125.
Wow.
Okay, tell us that again. How much now?
$125.
You mean $125,000?
No. $125. I mean, I worked
for the whole year.
For the whole entire year.
Oh.
So can you know, that didn't cover close to $6,000 that I took out to help with the business. And so, you know, I look at that and we were so in the red. And it was like, God, you told me to do this. I don't understand why
you
took me
right
from
there.
This place where I was comfortable in to this process where I'm not seeing anything from it, but yet I chose to trust you. And so I was at a crossroads. It was like either I'm going to stick with this business or I'm going to go back to my Egypt. Okay, I'm going to go back to that place.
Go back to what you're familiar
what I'm familiar with. And it was a place that would have kept me in bondage for 30, 40 years until I retired and never got what God really intended on me to get. And so I was at a crossroads. Do I go back to Egypt, or do I continue on with this and not give up?
Amen.
And so,
Amen.
And so I said, okay, I'm going to try to get back into the school system. God, I'm just going to test the waters to see. And I'll still keep my business, right? But see, the thing I didn't say was that when I first started the business, God had showed me in a vision how he had closed that door completely. And that's why I knew that I couldn't go back. But yet, you know how when you become fearful and not really sure of what's going to happen. So I tried to go back. You know, when God closes a door, no man can open that door back up. And I thought I was the man that could open that door back up. So I'd go back into the school system and say, you know, I'm gonna, because I took a leave of absence to be on the safe side, didn't really quit. And I said, well, I want to take back my leave of absence and say I'm coming back this year. And then so they say, well, no, you know, you turned in your work too late. It has to be in by a certain time, so you can't come back into the school system like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, was I surprised? No, because I already knew that God had told me that door was closed and I would never be able to enter back into that school system again. And so I went, I repented. I said, God, forgive me. I said, you know, my flesh started acting up. I said, I was just nervous and I'm fearful, and right now I'm still fearful. I said, but you know what? I'm just going to choose to trust you. So tell me what it is that I need to do for me to say I have a successful business. Because the first year I did not have a successful business. I had a business that seemed like it was going under. And so I began to meditate every single day. I kept a journal. And every day, God would just give me things that I would need to do to revamp my business. When I say a complete turnaround happened, a complete turnaround happened. From logos, my whole branding changed.
Okay, you all hear that, listening audience. She's actually giving you all some tips that you can actually take away, and maybe you want to incorporate that into whatever you're doing, that you can go from this $125 and just stay with us, because she's going to tell you to what God has blessed her to do now. So continue with that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you, you're blessing me myself.
I know.
Because think about it. I mean, I can relate to what you're talking about. You know, I worked in a field for 23 years, and I loved being a reporter, but then that door was closed, and I tried to go back. God said, no, you can't go back. Yeah. So I'm learning a lot from this.
Yeah, and there's so many people that are in that, you know, that are trying to go back to something God is really trying to bring you out of, and it's like, I
got more for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so my whole branding changes, right? From logos to websites to email to everything. And so I had a niche, but I figured out, you know, the Holy Spirit revealed your niche market was wrong. You know, everything, how you were addressing and going about your business was wrong. See, my mindset, because I lived in Panama City, Florida at that time, my mindset was right there in Panama City. But God said, no, I need your mindset to shift to global, to international, because the places that I'm about to take care of business, Panama City ain't going to have nothing to do with this.
It's not going to have anything to do with it.
And so I had to open my eyes, take the scales off of my eyes to see where God was taking me. And it was international. It was global. And that's how my business went from
y'all ready for this? Y'all ready?
to making in 1 year way over 6 figures.
Oh my gosh.
In 1 year.
In 1 year.
Way over 6 figures.
From $125 in 1 year to over 6 figures in 1 year.
Way over 6 figures.
Way over. Okay.
And what was it? It was persistence. It was consistency. It was determination. It was faith. It was, you know what? God said that you could do it, that's it. If God said it, that's it. You got to trust in Him. And then secondly, you got to trust in yourself. You got to know that you do have what it takes for you to be a global international mogul.
You got what it takes. That's
so
right.
I had to get over my fears, my doubt, my disbelief, and say, you know what? I am thebomb.com.
All right. All right.
Fabulous. This ain't nothing for somebody like me to do. You know, I'm an ordinary person, but I'm about to do some extraordinary things through God.
So what kept you encouraged? What kept you motivated? What kept you going? Because I know it had to be some times when you really wasn't sure, like you talked about going back to the schools, or at least trying to go back to the school system. So besides that, what kept you moving?
My why was my family. My husband, he works hard. He will do whatever it takes for his family, and I had a newborn son who was a miracle baby. And I wanted to be able to give him the world. It was like, you know, God blessed me with this miracle, with this blessing, but I can't even support him. I can't even, you know, I know God would not do that. You know, He's not that type of God. So what is my why? I want a better life for my child. I want to help my husband out. I want to be able to enjoy the fruit of our labor and just experience life and just have fun and just love God. I'm a kingdom financier, and because I'm a kingdom financier, I gotta have some money coming in my pocket. And so that was my why, and I was called to such a place as that. It wasn't right for me to give up.
And I'm glad you brought up your husband too, because whenever you go to something, it takes two. I mean,
it takes two.
You have to both be in sync, because I know I would not have been able to get through the last year of being downsized without supporting my wife.
And that's a big difference maker. I remember when we were going through that adjustment that, you know, I began to develop clients internationally. And I'm talking big deals, you know, 20,000 deals, $20,000, $30,000 deals.
Wow.
And I would have to stay up literally all night because of time zones. And my husband would take that slack, you know. I can't get out there and cook the dinner and get everything situated like I wanted, because there were so many things I had to do with work. And so he took up that slack for me. He helped me to build that empire to where it needed to be. I had to have support. I had to have him believing in me and saying, you know what? If that's what God put in you to do, let's do it. When I told him God told me to leave the school system, he was like, okay.
Wow.
Go into insurance. Okay.
Amazing.
Start your company. Okay. How much money you need? Well, how much can we get on the loan? And so it was always, okay, I'm going to support you. Whatever you need,
that's amazing.
We're going to make this happen.
So what did you do, though, to invest in yourself? And after you answered that, I would like to know, what did you do for yourself? How did you keep, some me time for you. Tell us about that.
Me time for me. I love shopping.
Ah, okay.
So I have a habit that requires money.
Okay.
So, when I'm feeling stressed or, tired, my thing is go walk around the mall for a few hours and buy you something that looks good.
Wow.
And that's just me. I love it. It's a passion of mine, a passion that I'm trying to turn into something lucrative,
Right.
But
how old is your daughter?
my daughter is 3.
Okay, wait until your daughter is 15, like mine is. She and my mom, that's their habit.
That's their habit. See, you got to keep bringing in the big bucks. Yeah.
Wow.
Support their habits.
So investing in yourself in regards to the business, did you partner with people that was actually in the professional translation business, or what did you do to invest in your business?
Well, I don't have any angel investors or silent investors or anything like that. Anybody that poured in money into the business.
Wow.
I don't have that. So what I did was I did this from the ground up by myself with the support of my husband. And I brought in, when I got the big picture that my company was not just Panama City, Florida, but it was global, it was international, I began to partner and bring in some big time clients that brought in thousands of dollars for our company. Okay. And so, and when we relaunched, I guess you could call it that, as money began to pour in to the company, I began to reinvest that money back out.
Okay.
So I would come up with different things for marketing. I've been on commercials that air on every type of marketing strategy that's probably out there. I've done it. Okay. I've been on billboards. I've been on television. I've had 2 commercials that's been airing on Comcast, worldwide. And so it's just anything you could come up with, we have done it.
Wow. So what was it like when you got that first client, that first customer? They said, you know what, I really like what you're doing and I need your service and I want to pay you for this. What was that like for you? What type of celebration did you have?
Well, I thought it was going to be balloons and flowers and candy and music and everything, but my first client, I have to tell you about this. We acquired a client, our first big project, major project. It was going to bring in like $1,700. I remember this so vividly. Okay. $1,700.
Yeah.
We were going to translate this poetic book into Spanish. So I'm excited. I got this team that, when I restructured my company, I got this phenomenal team in Mexico that works for our company. They make our company look really good when it comes to Spanish translation. They're bad. I just say that. All right. And so I get to send this to them, and we got this big deal. This is our first big deal, and it's $1,700. That's a lot of money.
Okay. Right.
For us, we didn't make any money. And so this client turned out to be a spammer. We did the work. We didn't get paid. It was horrible.
Oh wow!
And so I lost money, and then I said, "Now God, what was I supposed to learn from that?" And He said, "You were so happy that you had this client that you didn't never follow the necessary steps to make it be legit." And I said, well, what didn't I do? I didn't establish a contract with them. I didn't get a deposit. I didn't require certain things from the client for it to flow smoothly. And then I just sent the work, and I had not gotten a single dime from that. We're a service company. We have to have certain things in place. Whether if you're a first-time client, now you're going to pay us a deposit, honey.
I know that's right.
It's a huge project.
I hope people who have businesses will listen to what she just said.
Yes, absolutely.
I've got burdened before too.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, like right now, we're working on a book that's probably about 200,000 words. So, this book is probably turned out to be about $40,000-$50,000 for us, right?
Right.
So what we're doing now currently, they pay the deposit, and every time we turn a chapter, finish a chapter or two, we get some money in the bank.
All right.
So, that $50,000 has been cut up in several different, ways. But,
so you're even helping the client. So they don't have to come up with a large amount. Right. So you're helping them as well. Right. Okay, so listen to the audience. She's actually helping you to know how to put systems in place that you won't get burned. So you can actually learn from her mistakes to know before you sign over your work, make sure you have a contract signed, make sure that everything that you're doing is legitimate. So this is some good information. And you know, you can call in, you can ask Trish some questions. You can call us at 205-741-9244. That's 205-741-9244.
Listen,
Trish,
we're gonna take a break.
Okay.
I'm hoping that Latrice, who is lost, will be here by the time we are here for the second half of the show. But we're gonna take a break, and then she will take some calls. And thank you so much. This has been powerful so far. But
yes,
we'll
it
take
has.
a break and come back after this message.
All right.
It's like we're still on the air. Okay. Station manager may be asking Latrice, so go back and ask another question.
All right, we're going to flow with this. It's not a problem at all. That's exciting. All right, we're going to give you this number again. You can call us at 205-741-9244. That's 205-741-9244. Because if you have any questions that you would like to ask Trish Morissette with professional translations. Trish, right quick, tell us a little bit about the fashion thing. I heard you say something about fashion, and I follow you on Facebook, so I see these blog posts and things of that nature. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, well, my fashion, I started a fashion blog really to inspire women to look good, feel good, that type of thing. And, you know, I know everybody may not like my style, and it's okay, because I'm not insecure in that. I know that I'm going to reach certain women that can connect with me in that area.
I love your style.
Thank you. But it's for motivation and inspiration for women, because I have this thing where I try to encourage women to be fabulous, spirit, soul, body, and business. And so whatever I could do, whether it's blogging, inspirational quotes or words to encourage them to do that, that's what I do. And so my fashion blogging is part of just my inspiration for women to help them get ideas in the fashion world.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. Do you have any events?
Tell what your blog is.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, my blog?
Yes.
Oh, well, I am...
Yeah,
I'm on Chictopia. It's www.chictopia.com/Lady Trish M. And Chictopia is spelled CHICTOPIA. And then, okay, it's just me at Lady Trish M.
All right.
M as in Morissette for my last name. So you can find me there. Actually, we're also getting our websites and stuff done for different things. And so I'm going to have my own website coming soon where they can go on there and see it as well. So, but for now, chictopia.com/Lady Trish M.
And by the way, later on, we're going to want you to make sure you give all the information on how people can reach you, how to follow you on Facebook and Twitter, and phone number, email. So.
Absolutely.